There was a stretch of time when I was surrounded by people who seemed to be moving faster than I was. Friends landing bigger opportunities, people hitting milestones earlier, people stepping in the rooms that I hadn't yet stepped into. And from the outside, I was doing well. I was working, I was building, and for the most part, people thought I was successful, and I was. I wasn't stalled. But internally, I started measuring. It wasn't loud. It was just a quiet comparison running in the background. I'd see someone else reaching something significant and think, should I be further on by now? And that question has weight. Comparison can be useful. It can sharpen you. It can push you to raise your standards. Seeing someone else do something well can wake you up in the best way. It can remind you what's possible, and in many ways, even show you a path to get there. But comparison also carries a risk. If you're not careful, you start borrowing someone else's timeline. You begin assuming their speed should be yours. Their breakthroughs become a clock ticking over your head. I felt that pressure. And there were moments when I questioned my pace. When I wondered if I had missed a turn somewhere, should I consider accelerating decisions just to feel like I was catching up? And that is the dangerous part. See, when you feel behind, you don't just work harder. You rush alignment. You say yes faster. You move without checking whether the direction still makes sense for you. I had to learn something uncomfortable. Someone else's success does not slow yours down. It doesn't take oxygen out of the room. It doesn't close your window. It doesn't throttle your momentum. But it can distort your thinking if you let it. The truth is, we're all captains of our own ships. Well, that sounds simple, but it isn't. It means you're responsible for your direction, your pace, your course corrections. It means you don't get to blame the current, and you don't get to copy another vessel's route just because it looks impressive from a distance. There were people I admired deeply who achieved things before I did, and I had to decide whether I would let that motivate me or destabilize me. Motivation is clean. It says, if they can do it, so can I. Destabilization says, why haven't I done it yet? Those are very different internal conversations. I've learned that timing is not just about opportunity. It's about readiness. Not skill alone, not effort alone. Readiness in how you carry yourself, how you respond under pressure, how you handle what comes with the achievement. There were things I wanted early on that, if I'm honest, I wasn't ready to sustain. Had they arrived then, I might have been overwhelmed by them, or I might have built something I couldn't hold on to, or not been prepared enough to sustain it. It's easy to assume delay equals deficiency, but sometimes delay is development. Sometimes the years you think you're losing are actually the years you're building depth and perspective, strength that doesn't collapse under pressure. When you compare yourself constantly, you start steering emotionally instead of intentionally. You react to other people's wins instead of focusing on your own navigation. And that's when you lose something more important than speed. You lose clarity, and you lose yourself. Being the captain of your own ship means accepting that the ocean doesn't move evenly. Some currents carry others faster for a season. Some winds shift unexpectedly. But none of that determines your final destination unless you hand over the wheel. There's no global throttle that limits how much success exists. Someone else reaching something first doesn't reduce your access to it. If anything, it expands what's possible. But you have to be steady enough not to interpret their pace as your failure. When I stopped trying to match timelines and started focusing on building something I could actually carry, everything changed. The urgency softened. The decisions became cleaner, and the work became mine again. Not reactive, not rushed, not defensive, just intentional. You're not behind, you're building. And if you stay focused on your course instead of someone else's wake, you'll arrive as someone who can actually hold on to what you've been asking for. Your destiny is waiting.